Further, note that the recent heavy rains have overwhelmed the existing drainage systems, resulting in flash floods that have caused significant damage to residential areas, public utilities, and local businesses, thereby exacerbating the already fragile living condition of the people in the federal constituency. And this is beyond the state government control and requires urgent federal government attention. Worried about the loss of lives, livelihoods, and property, as well as the destruction of farmlands, which has plunged many families into extreme hardship, as well as destruction of farmlands, threatening food security and economic stability of the constituency. Worried that Guli election is expanding at the alarming rate in the constituency, causing the collapse of bridges and isolating several communities, preventing access to basic services such as healthcare, education, and markets. We recognize that the federal government response to the ongoing flood and erosion crisis has been insufficient, with little or no intervention to cover the escalating damage or provide adequate relief to the victims. Cognizant that the immediate and long-term actions are urgently needed to address the flooding and Ngoli erosion in the federal constituency, which include implementing proper drainage system, erosion control measures, and disaster relief programs to prevent further environmental degradation and humanitarian sufferings. The House resolves: 1, urge the federal government through the National Emergency Management Agency to immediately deploy relief materials and resources to victims of flood disaster and Ngoli erosion in the federal constituency. 2, call on the Ecological Fund Office in the Office of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation and the Federal Ministry of Works to expedite the provision of funds at technical support for flood and erosion control project in the federal constituency in the 2025 budget estimate. Mandate the House Committee on Works, Ecological Fund, National Emergency, and Disaster to collaborate in ensuring implementation of the resolution. Mandate the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to immediately commence the construction and rehabilitation of roads, drainage systems, and other critical infrastructure destroyed by the flood and erosion in Gabi constituency, Kaduna State, and ensure that it is captured in the 2025 budget estimate. Mandate the Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance. I so move, sir.
Any seconder? 2 red cards from Kano. I don't know which one to choose. So since you have identified yourself, you know you are going to pay a price before 2027 for recognizing yourself.
Mr. Speaker, by that 2027 and beyond, you shall sit on that chair with red cap by the grace of God.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, my name is Barrister Muhammad Bello Shehu. I'm representing the people of Fege Federal Constituency. I'm from Kano State, and I stand to second the motion as ably moved by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on National Emergency and Disaster Preparedness, Ecological Fund, Works, and Housing for further legislative action. The next motion is coming from Right Honorable Barrister Kwamoti Bitrus Laori. If Honorable Laori is around, please, can you rise and move your motion?
With profound respect and humility, Right Honorable Speaker, my name is Kwamoti Bitrus Laori. I represent Diamsa Numan Lamude Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I have an urgent matter on the washed out bridge along Numan Gombe Road. Commuters are stuck, and it's so urgent. And I do apply to this House to suspend Order 8, Rule 5, to consider this matter urgent and allow me to move. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Any seconder? Honorable Zaks.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleague. I'm Dauda Zakaria Nyampa from Adamawa, representing the people of Madagali, Michika Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague, Honorable Bitrus Laori. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg. Honorable Solomon. Is it Solomon there?
Thank you, Your Excellency. The Speaker, my name is Solomon Wombo. I represent the people of Kasnala, Ukum, Logo Federal Constituency. I am from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I am up to support the second leg of the motion that is urgent enough for the House to permit that it be considered now. Thank you, colleagues.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Komoti, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, with profound respect. This motion on the need to expedite construction of washout bridge along Numan Gombe Road to save life, boost economic activities, and end the plight of commuters in Adamawa State. The House notes that the heavy downpour that caused flooding in parts of Adamawa State also washed out a bridge in Boshkiri community along Numan Gombe Road on Thursday, 19 September 2024, and resulted to a total halt in vehicular movement along the axis for this, with adverse effect on socio-economic activities in the Northeast sub-region. Also note that temporary alternative provided for stranded commuters to use after the washout is completely destroyed on Sunday, October 6, leaving no alternative for commuters traveling to and from Gombe State and other states in the Northeast to Adamawa State due to the increased rains that caused severe flooding in the area. Aware that not only has the collapsed bridge negatively impacted commercial activities along the road, it has also resulted in significant losses of humans, animals, and goods, as well as trauma and stress. As a result of trucks transporting animals and perishable goods becoming stuck in the area, patients with emergency medical conditions run the risk of dying on the spot. That the Numan-Lafia portion of the ongoing Numan-Gombe Road construction has lingered for almost a decade now, even though same project has steadily enjoyed budgetary allocations for all the number of years it lasted. Worried that the worst areas, starting from the washout bridge to Lafia, Lamode, will constitute a major setback to commuters and businesses due to the glacial pace on the road project execution, if not accelerated, and that as a result of socio-economic prosperity of the Northeast region would continue to suffer setback. Hence, I urge the House to resolve to mandate the Committee on Works to ensure speedy reconstruction of the washout bridge, address the cause of delay in completion of the Numan Gombe Road construction project for the safety of Nigerians, economic prosperity of the Northeast, and the nation at large. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? My dear brother with the black cap, I can't see the face clearly.
Right Honorable Speaker, dear colleagues, my name is Kalejaya Deboye Paul, PhD. I represent the good people of Ajeromi Felonu Federal Constituency, the mini Nigeria. I'm from Lagos State, the state of aquatic splendor. I hereby second the motion as ably moved. Thank you, sir.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Works for further legislative action. The next motion is coming from Honorable Ojo Sunday Makanjola. If Honorable Sunday is around, please can you rise and move your motion? Honorable Sunday?
Yes, sir. Honorable Speaker, sir.
Please go ahead.
Your Excellency, sir. Even our own
Speaker, thank you for giving the floor to me. My name is Honorable Joe Sunday Makanjola, Honorable representing Ogoluwa, Surulere Federal Constituency. I'm from the Peseta State, even Oyo State. I rise this day in order to, under 8 room 5, to take this matter of urgent public importance on the need to intervene in the impasse between the Osun State government and Segilola Resources Operating Limited in order not to frustrate foreign direct investment in the solid mineral. I so move.
The chair.
The Right Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues, my name is Honorable Obi Agocha. Mr. Speaker, I represent the great people of Iguano, Umaha North and Umaha South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm an Abia man, the home of the most performing governor in Nigeria, Dr. Alex Oti. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that my colleagues' motion is urgent enough to set aside the relevant sections of our House rule to have it to be heard. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. The second leg of the motion. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Yusuf Kure Baraje. I represent Boso Paikoro Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm from Niger State. I rise this morning, Mr. Speaker, to second the motion ably moved by my colleague, the second leg, so as to enable him to take up his motion. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Ojo, please proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. I rise to present this matter of urgent public importance on the need to intervene in the impasse between the Osun State government and Segilola Resources Operating Limited in order not to frustrate foreign direct investment in the solid mineral sector. The House notes that the Constitution of the federal government in Section 44(3) expressly puts natural resources, which include mining, under the exclusive list. However, in recent times, some nationals have continued to make laws and impose restrictions as well as levies on activities associated with and surrounding mining operations. Also, note that following alleged controversy surrounding the operation of Segilola Gold Company and the accusation of non-payment of taxes, the Osun State government on Monday, 30th September 2024, said it sealed the business premises of Segilola Resources Operating Limited, the largest gold company in Nigeria. Further note that Osun State has been demanding over 60 billion naira and redeemable shares from Segilola Operating Resources Limited for acquiring Osun State investment interest in Tropical Mines Limited, but has been removed. The House also aware that the core of the dispute centers around taxations and operational issues, with both parties presenting claims and counterparts that have disrupted operations at Segilola, Nigeria's first large-scale gold mine. The House worried that as a nation facing one of its toughest economic challenges in recent history and has recognized the sector as one of the most viable sectors with the capacity of revamping our economy, which has led to the government activity promoting investment opportunity in the solid mineral sector around the world. Recognize that the ongoing situation could send the wrong signals to the international mining investment community, leading to the possible blacklisting of Nigeria as a mining investment destination. Closing down mining operations by subnational government could jeopardize the country's effort to attract foreign direct investment, FDI, and may even lead to divestment by existing companies. Concern that without urgent intervention by the legislature, the feud between both parties could disrupt peace and industrial harmony that will not be beneficial to the economic fortunes of the country and also workers as well as their family who have already been negatively affected by the closure of operation at the factory. Resolve to mandate the House Committee on Solid Mineral, the caucus leader of the Southwest, and the caucus leader of Osun State to intervene in the dispute between all parties, which include the regulators, the Federal Ministry of Solid Mineral, the state, subnationals, and the operations, Segulola Limited. 2, call on the House to constitute an ad hoc committee comprising of the leadership of the House along with the chairman of the House Committee on Solid Mineral and chairman on the Committee on Finance to approach the Council of State for the resolution of all the identified areas of conflict between the national and the subnational government, especially with regard to the provision of the Nigerian Mining Act 2007, as amended, and further mandate its Committee on Solid Mineral to develop and hold memorandum that we present all the Council of State by the leadership of the House. I so move, Honorable Speaker, sir.
Point of order or amendment? Right, Honorable, go ahead. Let's hear your point of order.
Thank you, His Excellency, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Taufik Abimbola Ajilisoro. I represent Ife, Federal Constituency in Osun State. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the source. I stand on our House Rules, Order 9, Rule 5, which states that reference shall not be made to any matter on which a judicial decision is pending in such a way as might, in the Speaker's opinion, prejudice this in the interest of the parties thereto. Mr. Speaker, I want to bring to your notice that this matter is sub judice because it's already with the State High Court and the Federal High Court. And then with this, I will implore my colleague to please to step down these motions so that the law can take its course. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
You sure, do you have any proof to show us that this particular matter is before a court of law?
100%, sir. Both parties sue themselves. The state sues Segulola in State High Courts, and Segulola himself sues state in Federal High Courts.
Okay, I think somebody, do you want to respond to this point of order? Or at least you have a comment to make?
I want to respond to the point of order as well as a comment. Your Right Honorable Speaker, My name is Gaza Jonathan Befi, and I represent the people of Karu Kefi Kokona Federal Constituency. Right Honorable Speaker, the effort here, and as the motion reads, is one of intervention. It's not as if we're investigating or anything. It's a situation where we're trying to resolve this issue amicably so that it's a win-win situation that would bring about foreign direct investments coming to our country. Who knows when this court case will be resolved? It's a situation where we would want each party to seize their swords. This House has been known for legislative diplomacy, and this is one of such situations where we want to put it into effect. Thank you, Right Honorable.
Thank you, my dear brother. I think we need to to respect the separation of powers.
Yes.
If this issue is before a court of law, I think it will not be proper for us to discuss further. However, with the support and the placing of the House, I can take it up with the governor informally, without us having to set up a committee or any of our standing committees to pursue this matter. He's my good friend, we can discuss informally. Are we okay with it?
Carry.
So with this, I don't know whether the mover of this motion can graciously step it down to allow me to intervene informally.
Thank you, our Honorable Speaker. I'm grateful for your quick intervention on the matter. I arise to step the matter down, the motion down, as your law pleases, sir. Thank you.
This motion is stepped down by the leave of the House. The leader of the House, please, can you move that the House suspend its relevant rules to allow us take one more additional motion?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. Abdullah Ibrahim Ali Alims is my name. I represent the wonderful people of Ankpa, Malala, and Federal Constituency. I hereby move that the House do suspend its relevant rules to allow us to take more urgent public importance. Thank you, sir.
The minority leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we set aside our rules to enable us to take more than 3 matters of urgent national importance today. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Rep. Anemero Dekeri, if it's around, please can you rise and move your motion? Dekeri? Is Honorable Architect Ibrahim Mustafa Aliu around? Are you ready to take your motion? So please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. my colleagues, the honorable members, I remain Ibrahim Al-Mustafa Aliu, an architect. I represent Warner Afro constituency from Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, I want to indulge the support of the Honorable House to come under Order 805 to move a matter of urgent public importance on the need to investigate the road infrastructure development and refurbishment investment tax credit scheme and address concern of inefficiency and potential corruption. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to the first leg of the motion? Honorable Amboruna.
Thank you. I'm Honorable Bella Isa Ambarura, representing Guadaba Elela Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I'm from Sokoto State. I rise up to second the motion, ably moved by Architect Ibrahim Rabat to suspend the relevant rule and present his matter of urgent public interest. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion, please, if you are from the rural part of Lagos, whether you choose to second or not, I'm using my own powers as Speaker to compel that person to second this motion.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Iyaz Azal, formerly CFR, now GCON, inshallah. I represent the very, very good people of Ikorodu Federal Constituency, the constituency with the largest power plant in Nigeria, in Egbin. I stand to second this motion, Mr. Speaker, and I so second.
Honorable Faleke, do you agree with this claim?
Mr. Speaker, I concur. Thank you, sir.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Mustafa, please proceed.
Thank you very much, the Right Honorable Speaker, Ian Zenzo. Thank you also, my dear colleagues, for the overwhelming support. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, we are not unaware that Executive Order 007 of 2019 was a well-intended policy of the then administration of President Muhammad Buhari to create a sort of window for unprecedented infrastructure development. But that's turned out to be something else now because the poor implementation of the content of the order is of great concern. So I want the House to note that the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme was established by the Order 007 in 2019, as I earlier highlighted. I also recall that the federal government then stated that Nigeria needs about 348 trillion over 10 years to bridge the nation's infrastructural gap. I observe that this tax credit scheme is meant to encourage private sector participation in road infrastructure development in Nigeria. It allows companies to recover costs incurred in constructing or refurbishing eligible roads as tax credit against the future company's income tax, CIT liability. I want the House to further observe that 5 years after its inception, the scheme effectiveness, which hinges on the viability and cost efficiency of project undertaken, is yet to be ascertained. Aware that the selection process and onboarding of beneficiary companies by the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme Management Committee lacks transparency and clear eligibility criteria. Also aware that there is limited information on the project evaluation and approval process. Worried, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, that the tax credit utilization may not align with the scheme's objectives and therefore not achieving its intended impact on our nation's road infrastructure. I want the Honorable House to resolve to determine beneficiary eligibility and selection process by examining the criteria used by the scheme's management committee to select participating companies and determine if they align with the scheme's objectives. 2, to ascertain that the impact on road infrastructure development through the evaluation of the impact of the scheme on road infrastructure development in Nigeria. 3, identify the challenges and limitations faced by participating companies and recommend solutions. 4, to review the transparency and accountability mechanism in place to ensure the scheme's effectiveness. And 5, mandate the House Committee on Works to urgently conduct an investigative hearing on this tax credit scheme with a view to addressing the above concern of inefficiency and potential corruption. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Maki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I remain Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Malamudori Kaugama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second the motion heavily moved by my honorable colleague. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Works for further legislative action. Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 10 bills. I now invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Domestic Workers' Rights Bill 2024, first reading. National Lottery Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigeria Christian Pilgrims Commission Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024, first reading. National Hajj Commission Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024.
Order, please.
National Gaming Bill 2024, first reading. Administration of Criminal Justice Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Medical Center, Onaora, Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal College of Health, Egbeda, Oyo State, Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Highways Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading.
The second business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Public Procurement on the need to investigate the indiscriminate issuance of certificate of no objection by the Bureau of Public Procurement and non-compliance with mandatory post-procurement audit, standing in the name of Honorable Oyime Idem. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Thursday, 4th October 2023. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Idem is hereby invited to present the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Idem Unyime, member representing Ukanafun, Rowanam Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do receive the reports of the Committee on Public Procurement on the need to investigate the indiscriminate issuance of certificate of no objection by the Bureau of Public Procurement and non-compliance with mandatory post-procurement audit, HR 208/10/2023. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I so moved.
Is the deputy chairman of the committee around? No? Any member of the committee? Yes, Honorable Turaki, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion. I am Right Honorable Kabir Alasarurum. I represent Honorable Kure Kibe Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Kano. I rise to second the motion as moved by our chairman, Honorable Adam. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Eden, please proceed and lay your report. Please proceed and lay your report. Honorable colleagues, the first order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Healthcare Management of Nigeria and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, October 8, 2024. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. Abdullah Ibrahim Ali is my name. I'm from Kogi State, and I represent the good people of Ankpa, Malalam, Borough Federal Constituency. I rise to move that a bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Healthcare Management of Nigeria and for related matters, HB 1260, be read third time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Minority Leader, please can you second?
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Health Care Management of Nigeria and for related matters. Third reading.
Order, please.
Bill read the third time and passed. The second order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, NIBRI, to build capacity and conduct collaborative engineering research and development in the area connected with buildings, roads, engineering production, and construction materials and for related matters. Standing in the name of the House Leader, honorable members recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 8 October 2024. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be read the third time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, Abdullah Ibrahim Ali Halims is my name. I once again stand that a bill for an act to establish Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute to build capacity and conduct collaborative engineering research and development in the area connected with buildings, roads, engineering, production and construction material and for related matters, HB 1283, be read third time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Minority Leader, please can you second?
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that HB 1283 be read a third time. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to establish Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute to build capacity and conduct collaborative engineering research and development in the area connected with buildings, roads, engineering, production, and construction materials and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. The third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and establish Federal Medical Center Kachia Kaduna State, and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Gabriel Salezok, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, July 17, 2024. I now invite Honorable Zog to move that the bill be read a second time. Is Honorable Zog around?
Yeah, I'm here, Honorable
Okay.
Speaker.
Please go ahead.
My name is Honorable Gabriel Salezok, member representing the good people of Kachiaka-Zerko Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker and the Honorable House, I rise to move a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Center Act and establish Federal Medical Center in Kachiaka, Kaduna State, and for related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Ajilo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Umar Ajilo, member representing Makarpi, Kudan Federal Constituency from Kaduna State. I rise to second the motions that raised by my honorable colleague and brother from Kaduna State. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. I think, Honorable Zog, let me make your job lighter. It's an establishment bill. It does not require any debates, so just go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk?
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and establish Federal Medical Center, Kachia, Kaduna State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Health Institutions for further legislative action. Honorable colleagues, the fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish the African Aviation and Aerospace University, Abuja, and provide for administration and discipline of students of the university and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Said Musa Abdullahi. Honorable members recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 25th October 2023, and now invite Honorable Abdullahi to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Said Musa Abdullahi. I represent the people of Bida, Gwako, Kacha Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that a bill for an act to establish the African Aviation and Aerospace University, Abuja, be read the second time. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Yes, Honorable. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Bargaja Mohammed, member representing East Assam Federal Constituency. I read to second the motion ably briefed by colleague Honorable Saidu. Mr. Speaker, I so second the motion.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Again, this is an establishment bill. With your kind permission, we'll just go ahead and put the question. Honorable Said, are you happy with that? So that I don't say anything out of bound for somebody to indict you. No finance people are not well loved. So those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk?
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to establish the African Aviation and Aerospace University, Abuja, and provide for administration and discipline of students of the university and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Aviation Technology for further legislative action. The fifth order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate the menace of incessant building collapse in Nigeria. Standing in the name of Honorable Aderemi Hosseini. Honorable Hosseini is hereby invited to move the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Palace, you have been disturbing the DS. He said I should tell you to find your seat.
Once again, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this wonderful privilege. My honorable colleagues, this morning I rise to raise a motion here to discuss something that is very, very important to us as Nigerians. My name is Engineer Aderemi Oseni. I represent the entire people of Ido-Ibarakwa East Federal Constituency. I am from Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, before I read this motion, sir, kindly permit me to mention one or two things that are very crucial as far as this motion is concerned. In 1974, Mr. Speaker, Oyo State, as part of this country, Nigeria, experienced or suffered what we call monumental loss as a result of building collapse. The same thing happened, and as a result of that collapse, 27 people died on the issue. In November 1st, 2021, 52 people equally died as a result of building collapse in Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, just for few references, in 2014, September 12 specifically, at Synagogues Church of All Nations, there was another major incident where 115 people died on account of building collapse. Mr. Speaker, the same thing happened in 1966 at the University of Aberdeen, where Department of...
Honorable Hussein, are you reading from the other paper?
I'm not reading, yes, sir. I just need...
No, but you are supposed at this juncture.
Okay, sir. Preambles. Just preambles, sir.
You have already read the preamble, so go to conclusion.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
State your prayers.
Yes, sir. So on account of that, sir, Mr. Speaker, today we are concerned about these challenges as it affects us as a nation, on the need, and that is why I rise today to raise this motion on the need to investigate the menace of incessant building collapse in Nigeria. My prayer, sir, is to mandate the Ministry of Works Committee to ascertain the causes of the incessant building collapse and provide lasting solution to curb the menace of, and report back to the House within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Amendment.
Amendment?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Patrick.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Dr. Patrick Umar. I represent the entire people of Ikorekbene, Sienudim, Oborokara Federal Constituency. The Speaker, I rise to amend the prayers. The amendment goes: mandate the Committee on Housing, Urban and Regional Planning, and the House Committee on Environment to ascertain the causes of the incessant building collapse and prefer lasting solutions to curb the menace and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Kogi?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Architect Salman Idris, I speak for Kababunu Ijumbu Federal Constituency. I rise to second this particular amendment, Mr. Speaker. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Any more amendments? Is that so, sir? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Sesi Oluwaseun Wingan, member representing Badagry Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos State. My amendment to the motion is, I think the motion should explicitly include relevant authorities aside from the one mentioned by my brother. Standard Organization of Nigeria should be part of it. Current and building regulatory bodies should also be part of it. Nigeria Building and Road Research Institute, NIBRI, should also be part of the agencies, aside from the one mentioned by my colleagues.
Please, can you repeat it? Repeat the
Standard
amendment.
Organization of Nigeria.
What?
Current Standard Organization of Nigeria should be included. Current and building regulatory bodies, such as Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, NIBRI. Ministry of Housing should also be mentioned as collaborators to provide technical input.
Okay. Any seconder to this amendment? Honorable Hussein.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Hassan Sheikh Hussein. I represent the good people of Nasarawa Federal Constituency, Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion, heavily moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Any more? Honorable Billy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Chief Dr. Billy Famous Adesuwa Osawaru. I represent the good people of Orion Federal Constituency of Edo State. Still a very proud Bini chief. Mr. Speaker, in addition to all the prayers, it is very important we include the Committee on Safety Standards. The Committee on Safety Standards. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Sorry, Honorable Billy, I didn't quite hear what you were saying. Can you repeat?
Yes, I said in addition to all the prayers, there should be the Committee on Safety Standards.
Safety Standards.
Yes, be included.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to this addition? Honorable Architect, Honorable Engineer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Engineer Sanubala. I represent Sanyawa Gari Federal Constituency from Kano State, and I stand to second the motion as amendment, as heavily moved by honorable colleagues. I so second.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Works, Housing, Environment, Safety Standard for further legislative action. The sixth order of the day is a motion on the need to enforce the provisions of the Export Prohibition Act to curb insecurity in Nigeria. Standing in the name of Honorable Mukhtar Shagaya. If Honorable Shagaya is around, please kindly rise and move your motion.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Mukhtar Tolani Shagaya, and I represent Nigerians, starting from Ilorin West, as a federal constituency of Kwara State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on the need to enforce the provisions of the Export Prohibition Act to curb insecurity in Nigeria. The House notes Section 14, subsection 2b of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended states that the security and welfare of the people shall be
Honorable
the primary
Zana, you have
purpose.
been promoted. Congratulations to the high table here, dedicated for the chairman, rules and business. Please proceed and sit there. Please, can we appreciate him with a round of applause? Come and sit here. Please continue.
States that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. The House also notes that Nigeria is currently experiencing high levels of food insecurity, food inflation, and food shortages. This situation has led to millions of citizens lacking access to sufficient and nutritious food, resulting in untold hardship, hunger, and misery among the population. The House is concerned about reports from the World Bank and the International Rescue Committee, IRC, indicating that over 31.8 million Nigerians, approximately 16% of the population, are currently facing severe food insecurity and malnutrition among women and children. The House is also concerned that the food smuggling and exportation is a major driver of the current food insecurity, with large quantities of food products smuggled out of the country, consequently undermining agricultural output and threatening the livelihood of farmers. The House is also aware that the Export Prohibition Act 2004 was passed at a period when the majority of Nigerians were unable to acquire basic necessities like rice, corn, yam, gari, cassava, and beans, due to the fact that these goods were being transported, sometimes covertly, to foreign markets, a circumstance comparable to the situation experienced at the present. The House is worried that the failure to implement the said legislation over time has led to severe food shortages, high food prices, increased food insecurity, and the loss of revenue for farmers and the federal government. Honorable Speaker, right honorable colleagues, the House is cognizant of the need to address the current food crisis by enforcing the Export Prohibition Act 2004 to prevent food exportation, ensure food availability, and reduce the cost of living for Nigerians. Therefore, the House resolves to 1, urge the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, implement the Export Prohibition Act 2004 to curb food smuggling and food insecurity in Nigeria. 2, also urge the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to provide more incentive to farmers to boost agricultural production and productivity. And 3rd and finally, mandate the House Committee on Agricultural Production and Services and legislative compliance to ensure compliance and report back to the House within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Honorable Dominic.
Thank you, dear Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name remains Honorable Dominic Ifeanyi Okafor, and I speak for Nigeria, starting from Agwata Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, since we are talking about exports, I feel my amendment is to include custom, committee on custom, as part of the prayers in prayer number 3. I so move amendment.
Any seconder to this? Seconder to this amendment? Honorable Buffer.
Distinguished People's Speaker, my name is Aliyu Baffa Misau, representing the good people of Misau Demban Federal Constituency. I stand to second the amendment moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. That's have it. Any more amendments?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Amboruna. After you, Honorable Zakaria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, distinguished colleagues. I'm Honorable Bela Isa Ambarura, representing the people of Godaba and Ilela Federal Constituency in Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, I rise up to make a little amendment in the third prayer of the presenter of this viable motion that the Committee of Commerce and Industries be involved in this situation, considering its role in controlling and regulating the prices of the commodities in Nigeria. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Any seconder to this amendment to include committees on commerce and industries? Any seconder? Yes, Honorable Zanna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Zanna Usman, representing the good people of Kagago, Bioma, Gomeri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. I rise to second the motion, the amendment ably moved by Mr. Isa Ambursa. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Agricultural Production and Services, Commerce, Industries, and Customs for further legislative action. The seventh order of the day is a motion on the need to review Nigeria's justice and judicial system in order to restore public trust in the judiciary and address the delay in providing justice. Standing in the name of Honorable Ganiu Adele Ayuba. If Honorable Ayuba is around, please can you rise and move your motion?
Thank you, our amiable Speaker, the Speaker of the People's House, the ancestor of our time. Abdul Ganiu Adele Ayuba is my name. I speak for and on behalf of Alimosho Federal Constituency, the most populated federal constituency in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Lagos. Are you sure,
Honorable Ganiu?
Yes.
More populated than Honorable Jimmy's constituency?
I may restrain myself to contest that.
So you have withdrawn your statement by implication?
It's again the rule to join issue with my leader, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
So then don't mention it again.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I write this afternoon, like I said, I'm from Lagos State, the economic heartbeat of the nation. I write here this afternoon to move this motion that has to do with the urgent need to review the nation's judicial and justice system with a view to renew the hope and confidence of common man in the judiciary and administration addressing the delay in justice delivery. The House notes that judiciary is the third arm of government, constitutionally saddled with the responsibility of prompt dispensation of justice and interpreting the laws made by the legislature. Also, the House notes that the judicial power are constitutionally vested in various categories of courts, legally created by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Act of National Assembly, and the law of various houses of assembly of the various states of the Federation. Aware that one of the elements of the fair hearing, as entrenched in Section 36(1) of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, is the prompt determination of any civil rights and obligation of any person or authority within reasonable time by court or tribunal established by the law. The House further aware that there are many categories of courts created by the law serving as court of first instance and or appellate court with general and specific criminal and civil jurisdiction to hear and determine specific cases with view to ensuring prompt dispensation, emphasis on prompt dispensation of justice and prevent delay in justice delivery in the country. Consider that, notwithstanding the creation of this court, the delay still being experienced in the delivery of justice in our judicial system is highly alarming and gradually eroding the confidence of common man in judiciary. Mr. Speaker, the House worried that in some states of the Federation, cases at the High Court, which by their nature ought to be dispensed within months, last between 4 to 5 years before judgment is delivered. The House further worried that situations where suspects languish in detention for years awaiting trial, where chieftaincy cases lasted for years in court, leaving communities without head, and where commercial litigation span years in court unresolved, they are bane to our democratic and economic growth. Mr. Speaker, the House more worried that the Supreme Court of Nigeria in particular, the least any appeal case can wait on the queue for the turn is not less than 10 years, unless appeal on criminal cases and election cases which take less than that years of waiting. Aware that as measures to ensure quick dispensation of justice, certain provisions were introduced into the 1999 Constitution as altered, stipulating the time frame within which certain cases, one of them is election matters, should be finally determined by court and made the Court of Appeal instead of the Supreme Court as final courts to hear and determine appeal, any appeal arising from such cases. Believe that unless some urgent steps are taken to address the delay in our administration of justice and judicial system, the confidence reposed in the judiciary may be finally eroded, and citizens may start taking law into their hands. Mr. Speaker, the House thereby resolve and mandates the House of Committee. Mr. Speaker, minor amendment here. I want to seek the credit of the House to remove Judiciary and Constitutional Review Committee here, so that I'll be left with mandate the House Committee on Justice to organize public hearing and invite various stakeholders in the administration of justice with a view to permanently addressing the delay in justice delivery in the country and restore the confidence of common man in the judiciary. Mr. Speaker, these are my submissions. I hereby move. Thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Thank you, Honorable. Any contribution? The Leader of the House, is it that you have, I saw you raising your hands?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to raise a point of order because this is a motion on notice, and it shouldn't have been read out of the context. And that was.
Did he read out of the context?
Exactly, that is exactly what he did.
Honorable Ayuba, did you add or subtract anything from what is contained in the notice paper, the order paper?
No, Mr. Speaker. The only thing I did was what I created obligation to allow me remove from the, that is the.
You know the rule is that you cannot add or delete anything.
Okay, let me take it.
That can only come under debate after you have been given the initial approval. No, just take note of it for future.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm grateful for that.
You are at liberty to increase whatever, but that has to be when the question is put and you are asked to further explain.
Why not?
Then you can be able to put whatever you want. Thank you, Leader, for the observation.
Why not?
The chairman rules. Is that also what you wanted to raise, or? Okay. Please take note of it in the future. Any more contributions or amendment? Is that chairman public account? It looks different. It looks bigger. And is it the one? Or my partners are sure? Okay, so please go ahead.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, I just want to contribute briefly to this issue. It's a very important motion to my mind. Anything that touches on dispensation of justice is very critical to the tenet of democracy. And I want to align myself with the sentiment expressed by the mover of the motion to the effect that when there is any problem in the effective discharge of justice delivery, it has very grave implication on public confidence in the system. Mr. Speaker, one of the major problems we have with our justice delivery system, for example, today, can be seen in the cases in our various correctional centers. Prisons that were built or correctional facilities that were built to take, for example, 100 persons in the 70s, where facilities have not been expanded till today, have thousands of people languishing in them. And Mr. Speaker, of the number of persons in our correctional facilities, I can say without any form of doubt that over 60 to 70% are people who are awaiting trial. Some of them are in the correctional facilities for a period that is even longer than the time they would have been convicted for if they were eventually found guilty of such alleged offenses. And by the principle of our Constitution, every person is adjudged innocent until proven guilty. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to support this motion, and I want to urge that, the forum or is asking for a public hearing should come as urgently as possible, because the outcome of such hearings may have to still go to the Constitutional Review Committee, subject to the bill being moved and passed in this House. So I want to say that this is a very important motion, and I lend my voice to the motion, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Chair. Is it contribution or amendment to the prayers? Let me start from my brother at the end. Is it a contribution?
Contribution, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, please make it brief.
The People's Speaker, my name still remains Honorable Ambassador Peter Ifeanyi Uzokwe. I represent the good people of Nnewi North, the Japanese capital of Nigeria, Nnewi South, and the Ekwusigo constituency. I come from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, the motion, if I don't contribute to it, I don't think I will be doing justice to public trust, because I am the beneficiary of quick dispensation of justice. I am here today because the electoral law made it possible that after the election, all the cases must be dispensed within 7 months. Previously, you have cases, electoral cases, lingering up to 3 years. So there is no time better than now for this motion to be given accelerated hearing and passed, because people are suffering. Just like my colleague said, that you have people languishing in prisons for a case that is maximum of 6 months, but they have stayed up to 2 years imprisonment waiting trial. So, Mr. Speaker, I implore you to do your good offices to make sure that we get something out of this motion. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Abente. I hope it is an amendment you are bringing.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, my distinguished colleagues. Our Nombeg Dagomie Abiante. My interventions may not necessarily have to do with the motion that we just read, but it's to see how we can fundamentally cure something that I noticed yesterday and even today, sir. Mr. Speaker, recall that yesterday one of us had his motion and he was compelled to read outside of what we had with us. Today we have a similar situation where our colleague also had to attempt to veer off the notice that all of us have. I think, Mr. Speaker, what could have been contributing to this is the fear that these motions are not open to debate. If we have the confidence that these motions will be open to debate, I'm sure whatever additional information they have to bring would be contributed at that point. I would have said a few things about the motion prohibiting export, but we didn't have the opportunity to open them up. If we're advocating for a comprehensive ban on export of food materials, Are we self-sufficient? Are we going to be self-sufficient after the prohibition? Are we not going to ask others to also give us something? So this could have been thrown up. We'll do critical analysis, and probably that will lead us to a common position that will be very helpful to us. It's just my opinion. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Chinda, are you in agreement with this position?
Mr. Speaker, his observations are apt. They are apt.
Thank you very much. God bless
However,
you.
just to add that I think that one of the problems that I have observed is that members send in their motions and it's edited at that point before published. And so when it's shown on the other paper, they read from their raw copy instead of what we have here. So I think that that's one of the challenges.
Yeah,
it's
I
not
think
wrong. It's not wrong to
Honorable
edit it.
Ayuba has taken note, and so also all members. So please let us desist from reading from our own text. We should restrict ourselves to what is on the other paper. The DS.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Speaker of the 10th Assembly. Honorable colleagues, my name is Benjamin Okeziekal. I represent the good people of Nigeria, starting from Bende Federal Constituency. Honorable colleagues, I'm from Abia State, and I rise to amend the prayers of this beautiful, timely motion. Mr. Speaker, the motion is a very good one, but I'm worried with the prayer, especially in a time when we are trying to cut the cost of governance. The expenses of the legislature should be managed in a manner that we use one stone to kill multiple birds. Mr. Speaker, this House has appointed a Constitution Review Committee with representatives from all the states of the Federation, including FCT, who are there as members of that committee. And there have been a lot of deliberations on the issue of the judiciary, which happen to be a prioritized sector. We've had a retreat in Lagos with the judiciary, discussing issues bordering on the subject matter of this motion. We also had technical section on Saturday, and we are calling another meeting with all the heads of the judiciary to interface with the technical team of the Constitutional Review Committee with regards to some of the issues mentioned in this motion. And therefore, we are going to have thereafter a public hearing that will have people deliberate on all the issues submitted through the memoranda that we receive, bordering on the judiciary space, to now demand for another public hearing on the issue that the Constitution Review Committee is already handling and will be calling for a public hearing, will amount to duplication of work. And we don't have enough money in this House of Representatives to fund all these outings. And I don't think Nigerians will also be happy that few days after calling for public hearing of this nature, we will also call Constitution Review public hearing. I want to suggest, Mr. Speaker, that we amend the prayer to read that all the submissions that had to do with this issue be submitted to the Constitutional Review. And the public hearing of the Constitutional Review should prioritize this issue that have been deliberated firmly by the House. I so amend, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to this amendment, deletion of judiciary and justice committees, and outrightly referring it to the Committee on Constitutional Review. Honorable Bello.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker. My name is Mohammed Bello El Rufai. I represent the good people of Kaduna North Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the amendment ably moved by His Excellency, the Deputy Speaker, sir. The Constitutional Review Committee is specifically there for that. While the issues brought up are very important, reforming the judiciary is our duty, but the Constitutional Review Committee covers that, and a recent retreat shows that. I so second proudly. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Constitutional Review for further legislative action. The eighth order of the day is consideration of 3 bills standing in the name of the House Leader. The Leader will move for their considerations.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Your Excellency, Right Honorable Speaker. Abdullahi Ibrahim Ali Halims is my name. I represent the wonderful people of Ankpa, Omala, Olamboro Federal Constituency. I am from Kogi State. I hereby move for consideration of the following reports. 1, a bill for an act to establish pharmaceutical technologists and Pharmacy Technician Regulatory Council of Nigeria to be vested with responsibility of determining standards of knowledge and skills to be obtained by persons seeking to become pharmaceutical technologists and pharmacy technicians, and for related matters, HB 345. 2, a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Education, Numan, Adamawa State, and for related matters, HB 936. And 3rd, a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for related matters, HB 1520. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion. As variably moved, I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Leader, can you move that the House resolve to the Committee of the Whole to consider these reports?
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. I hereby move that the House move to Committee of the Whole for consideration of this report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do resolve its Committee of the Whole to consider HB 345, HB 936, and HB 1520. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. House has resolved to the Committee of the Whole to consider these 3 reports. The Deputy Speaker takes over. I would like to announce the appointment of Honorable Adamu Ibrahim Gamawa, member representing Gamawa Federal Constituency of Bauchi State, as the new Chairman, House Committee on FCT Judiciary. Thank you.
Most distinguished colleagues, the The eighth order of the day, the first bill to be considered is for an act to establish pharmaceutical technologies and pharmacy technicians. We have handled this. This is done. This has been done. Okay. Physicians, Technicians Regulatory Council of Nigeria to be vested with responsibility of determining standards of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become pharmaceutical technologists and pharmacy technicians for related matters. I invite Honorable Sani Madaki to speak on this bill.
Mr. Chairman, my highly respected colleagues, my name is Aliyu Sani Madaki, and I represent the Ala Federal Constituency of Kano State. With the indulgence of the House and my honorable colleagues, Mr. Chairman, I want to beg that we step this bill down.
Thank you very much. Bill stepped down by the leave of the House. Most distinguished colleagues, the second bill to be considered is for an act to establish Federal University of Education, Numan, Adamawa State, and for related matters. I invite the leader to give the synopsis of this bill. 1 minute, please, leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished honorable colleagues. This bill for an act to establish Federal University of Education, Numan, Adamawa State, and for related matters. As you are aware, anything that will promote our education will go a long way in enhancing capacity and, upgrade in our system in Nigeria. So this bill, as you can see, is intended to promote education in Numan, especially Adamawa State, at a educationally disadvantaged state. So I crave your indulgence for support in ensuring that this bill is passed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The question is that we need clauses 1 to 32, schedule, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill to be made part of this. Clause 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 31, 32, shadows, explanatory memorandum, the long title. Most distinguished colleagues, the third and the final bill to be considered is for an act to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and for related matters. I invite the leader to give again 1 minute synopsis of the bill. Leader, please.
Chairman, distinguished honorable colleagues, this bill for an act to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and for related matters. HB 1520. As you are aware, Federal University of Agriculture, as you are aware today, scarcity of food, technology, as far as improvement in agriculture is concerned, is part of the reasons and most current reasons why we should give support for this establishment. I crave your indulgence to make sure that we support this bill to bring it to fruition. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, leader. In the period of food insecurity, having agricultural institutions that will train more people to become farmers and produce more for the country, the need cannot be overemphasized. The question is that clauses 1 to 26, schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long title be made part of the bill. Clause 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 26, schedules, explanatory memorandum, the long title of the bill. Leader, please move that the House do move back to revert to plenary to consider report from the Committee of the Whole.
distinguished honorable colleagues, I move that the House do revert to plenary for consideration of the aforementioned reports. Thank you, Mr.
Minority Leader, please.
Mr. Chairman, my dear colleagues, I second the motion that the House do revert back to plenary. I so second.
Thank you. Those in support of the motion that the House revert to plenary to consider a report from the Committee of the Whole say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The House hereby reverts to plenary to consider a report from the Committee of the Whole. Most distinguished colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to establish Pharmaceutical Technologies and Pharmacy Technicians Regulatory Council of Nigeria to be vested with the responsibility of determining standard of knowledge and skills to be attained by the person seeking to become pharmaceutical technologists and pharmacy technicians, and for related matters, and deferred consideration for further legislative action. Most distinguished colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Education, Noman, Adamawa State, and for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 32, the schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration, and for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 26, the schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Leader, please move that the House do adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole as a working instrument of the Parliament.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Abdullah Ibrahim Ali Halims is my name. Once again, I represent the good people of Ankpa Omala Federal Constituency. I hereby move that the House will consider the report, adopt the report for implementation. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Leader. Minority Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the report be adopted as a working instrument of the House. I so second.
Thank you very much, Minority Leader. The question is, those who are in support that the House will adopt the report from the Committee of the Whole as a working instrument of the Parliament say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Before I call for a motion, let me state that the report of the Committee of the Whole is hereby adopted as a working instrument of the Parliament. Let me also say that the Office of the House Committee on Rules and Business, you have been doing very well by making the order paper light. You've been doing extremely well. Members can now contribute when their mind is fresh. They are not burdened with a whole lot of things, and you know the law of marginal utility. They begin to give little when they stay too long sitting down. I thank you very much for this improvement, and I hope you'll be able to sustain it. We want to have members fresh with their ideas. Thanks a lot. Having said that, can the leader move that the House do adjourn to tomorrow, same time, same place?
Distinguished honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Abdullah Ibrahim Ali. I'm from Kogi State, and I represent the wonderful people of Ankpa Omala Federal Constituency. Having dealt judiciously with all the matters therein today, I hereby move that the House do adjourn till tomorrow, Thursday, same time, same venue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Before I call for seconding of this motion, let me state, please tell others who are not here, we are starting on time and we are closing on time to enable you go to your committee responsibilities and handle your committee responsibilities. So those who come late might miss out on the meat of plenary. So this is a new era, and I'm sure it is welcomed by all of you. Let me ask the minority leader to second that motion for adjournment till tomorrow.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do adjourn to tomorrow. I so second.
Thank you very much. Those in support of this motion that the House do adjourn to tomorrow, same time, same place, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The House is hereby adjourned to tomorrow, same time, same place.